committee has submitted their first report. Their next and final report is due on Monday. I've also, in respect of Commander Sugar Factory, written to the Attorney General. Usually, the Attorney General has to guide the process to enable us to pick a transactional advisor to determine the best operational options to operationalize Commander Sugar Factory and the others. Apart from finance, which is a big issue for industry, the next thing is raw materials. It will interest you to note that a lot of companies that run factories are operating 30% of their installed capacity. And some of them, the reason is not even finance. They have finance, they have market, but they don't have raw materials. And so the issue of raw material is very key in Ghana industrialization process. And in order to do that, the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry has come up with a project called Feed the Industry Program. The objective is to enhance competitiveness and sustainability of Ghana's industry. In order to do this, we have secured a lot of lands, some in the eastern region, some in the central region, and one in fact, 2 places in the Bono East region. And the GIPC is also working on land banks to help us to produce raw materials, agro, for our industry. In respect of the raw materials, we have 2 components. We have the agro and then non-agro. The non-agro include the metals, the rubber, and then the rubber is even agro. And then the non-agro includes the metals and then the things that we don't grow. And so last year, the ministry was able to secure a restriction of the export of non-ferrous scrap materials to ensure availability of raw materials for domestic manufacturing, because it's very difficult to import these non-ferrous scrap whilst we export at a cheaper price. And so we have agreed with this stakeholder consultation, and we agreed that aggregators should sell to local manufacturers so that we get raw materials to feed our industry. We've also prohibited the export of raw natural rubber to ensure sustainable raw rubber supply to domestic processors. Any issues that come around it, I'm sure, will be resolved. Now, agribusiness, our new addition. People ask me, isn't it burdensome to have trade, agribusiness, and industry? The answer is no. It has rather lessened the burden, because agribusiness has come to make industry and trade easier. Agribusiness has come to achieve a lot of things. It has come to make sure that our value addition is mentioned for attention. And so this helps us with industry. It helps us to solve the problems of industry, like the creation of raw materials. Now, government is intentional about the provision of raw materials, like I indicated earlier, with the Feed the Industry project. This all comes under the agribusiness subsector. And so we think that agribusiness has come to help industry. It has come to promote industry. It has come to help in value addition. It has come for attention and support. The objective of agribusiness, as I've stated earlier, is to focus on the establishment and reviving of agro-processing industries. We've discussed developing agroecological farmers into commercial value chain. One is going to happen at the Citrus Center in Central Region, where young people are coming together under an anchor developer to produce pineapple to feed the citrus company, and then a confit, commercial contract farming. So this is a typical example of how they feed the industry, help a particular industry to thrive, to operate under the 24-hour economy. Our achievements so far: we have been able to do a national agribusiness dialogue. As if fate would have it, I was the first minister for tourism culture and creative arts, and I was able to do the creative arts bill, and I think that is an opportunity for me to bring that experience to bear at the new agribusiness subsector to have trade, agribusiness, and industry. I have already done the National Agribusiness Dialogue. Happy to tell you that we have also drafted the National Agribusiness Policy through extensive stakeholder consultation around the regions. The ministry has begun the establishment of 7 agro-processing facilities, as I indicated earlier. I brought it here so that if you are picking this presentation and you are looking at agribusiness subsector, you know what has been done under agribusiness, even though I have mentioned it at the Technology Solution Centers have been handed over to Gratis Foundation under the Rural Enterprises for 40%. Gratis Foundation has trained 230 artisans to fabricate 300 post-harvest equipment for women smallholder farmers and retool the TEMA workshop for 24-hour economy. I'll soon open that workshop. It's great and it's going to change the dynamics. Now we have apprenticeship to entrepreneurship. To enhance the employability of the youth and address the skill gaps within critical industry, we also want to drive economic growth and foster innovation. Technical and business management skills are provided to mostly unemployed youth eager to learn a vocation. The Ghana Enterprises Agency, if you say Ghana Enterprise Agency, you'll be called by the CEO of GEA. She said it's enterprises because there are many. The GEA supplied startup kits to 6,194 youth to start businesses. What happens is that we don't only train them, we train them and make them entrepreneurs. If we just train them, it will not affect the job market. So we train you after you have acquired the skills, then we will give you the startup kits to enable you start your business and actually become an entrepreneur. 916 beneficiaries to assess 9.1 million Ghana cedis and disburse 10.04 million to 432 beneficiaries, 189 males, 243 female, very gender sensitive. 2,317 micro and small enterprises under the Rural Enterprises Development Fund to support their businesses. We have businesses that would have otherwise done well, but for lack of funds. So this is what our REP does to ensure that people get funds, funding for their businesses. To expand access to finances for entrepreneurs, the ministry inaugurated the grant committee of the Ghana Economic Transformation Project funded by the World Bank. The committee has screened applications by entrepreneurs pending approval by the Minister for Finance. Made in Ghana. Made in Ghana has come to stay. Made in Ghana is our game changer. Made in Ghana is what we have. We have to prioritize what we produce for the stability of our city. We have to prioritize what we produce for import substitution. We have to be proud of what we produce. We have to wear what we produce, eat what we grow, and that is what is sustainable. And in order to promote locally produced foods and services to boost the economy, enhance local industries, and reduce dependency on imports, we are coming up with an amendment of the Made in Ghana policy, aiding standard in specially manufactured products. buying any product which is 50 kg, exactly what you get. And so they are really going to enhance standards for our country. And Ghana Standard Authority is also up and doing with their inspection of factories to make sure that they come up to speed with what the standards are, international standards are, because made in Ghana will have to be synonymous with quality and high standards. And we are working high to achieve that. Through the intervention of the ministry this year, uniforms and other apparel for state institutions will be sourced locally from our producers. Ghana Prison Service is sewing, still made in Ghana. Private people are sewing, still made in Ghana. The most important thing is that all uniform must be made in Ghana. We should not enrich other countries at our detriment. We should not give employment to other countries while our teeming youth suffer. And so this year, we are excited that the uniforms will be sold here. It's going to help us maintain the strength of the city, all the money we need to change and export, to import these uniforms will be a thing of the past. Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. It's amazing the number of women we have in the ministry. Fortunately, led by a woman. And so our objective is to promote gender equity and economic empowerment by integrating women into trade, agribusiness, and industrial activities with a focus on agro-processing. This we have done. It is not an intense, something we have already started. So training has been done for women-owned businesses to enable them access export market. The number of exporters we have does not reflect the gender of this country. And so we've made conscious efforts to empower women to take advantage of the export market, which is, of course, a bigger and better market. In support of cross-border trade, the ministry sensitized over 2,800 businesses led by women, youth, and persons with disability across Elubu, Takrady, Tamale, Cape Coast, Aflao, Akanu-Nuope, and Sunyane, in collaboration with Trademark Africa and the World Bank. GEPA, with the support from ITC She Trades Project, trained more than 150 led women businesses, which is also great. This initiative reflects the government's commitment to women and youth participation in trade, agribusiness, and industry. The affirmative act has been passed, and so now ministries have to make conscious efforts to mainstream women in what they do, and we have already started. My baby at the ministry, the Business Regulatory Reform Program. This program is to improve the quality and transparency of regulatory administration, create a predictable business regulatory environment conducive for private sector development, and make Ghana the most business-friendly country in Africa. What have we achieved so far with the Business Regulatory Reform Program? We've been able to produce a Ghana's Be Ready assessment report that replaced the ease of doing business. The Ghana Be Ready self-assessment is an improvement of the ease of doing business. We have achieved that. We have developed online reform management and progress tracking system, first in the sub-region. We have interactive web portal created for public-private consultation. We have the Business Regulatory Reform Bill. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act is also under review to remove the minimum capital requirements, among others. However, I want to assure Ghanaians that the small retail trading will be the reserve of only Ghanaians. Engagement. And I'll start with cement because cement became topical this weekend. I've already been engaging the cement industry, and the latest one was on Monday. The engagement with them was to focus on improving quality and price stability. It is right learning that where the dollar is right now, prices must be stable. And I am happy and excited to reiterate the point that the prices of cement is not going to go up. And this is a matter of fact. Industry told me. I've also engaged textiles and garments. My engagement with them was on the local production of uniforms, how to bring them, some of them up to speed with international standards, because this year we are high on textiles and garments because it produces a lot of jobs for our teeming youth. I'll get to that point later, but just to let you know that I've been engaging the textile and garment space. I've visited a lot of these garment and textile industry, and firsthand, some of the issues have been addressed, looking at how they can upskill and take advantage of the international market, which we are helping them to secure. Sanitary products. I've also engaged the producers of sanitary pads first to encourage them to take advantage of Ghana's free sanitary pads program, and to put importers and then manufacturers together. As a Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, we want to encourage even importers to buy from manufacturers so that they don't need to import and pay charges and have all the problems they face with. Because our installed capacity in Ghana relative to sanitary pads is good, more than we need in the country. So I don't see the point in importing sanitary pads here. It doesn't have to be a law. It just has to be a matter of discussion and then agreement. And I think that we've made some headway relative to that one. Automotive, discussion with spare parts dealers with a focus on price reduction has been done. I started way before anybody could say Jack. Immediately I saw the dollar going down, I invited AGI and Guta and immediately asked them to look at their prices. And they told me to hold on a little bit because you see, this is unprecedented. We don't remember any time in the history of Ghana that the dollar has gone down and has been sustainable for about a year. And so they asked me that we should wait and watch. I assured them that the path that we are going, the dollar is of course going to be stable. So after 4 months, the prices started coming down. And now I can say that most prices have come down. When you check the prices of oil, rice, kokonte that I like, palm nuts, all of these, you see that the price have come down. I know the price of kokonte because I really eat kokonte. And so, and I buy it myself. You usually see me on the market shopping for myself. And so I know that prices have actually come down. Most of the things that we were buying in 2024, now we are buying at a reduced rate. And so when I went to Ofosu-Adjare, I realized that a lot of the prices have come down, even though two products did not, the price of two brands did not reflect the decrease in the exchange rate. Sprinter and then Resting. And I was told that Sprinter is an old brand, and so it's difficult to find. And in respect of that brand, it's just a matter of demand and supply that has affected the pricing. But we had a discussion and they agreed to work on it. I think that the people of Ofosu-Adjare are working well with the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, and I must commend them and encourage them to keep on working with us, that we have gained well to stabilize the economy. The whole idea and the essence of this is for everybody in Ghana to benefit. Consumers must take a benefit and investors must take a benefit. There shouldn't be any time that one party does that. And so I think that that is well understood and it's reflecting in the kind of prices that we are seeing. Food and beverages, discussion focused on standards to curtail the smuggling of substandard and counterfeit products have also been discussed. There have been several industrial visits. My joy. If I visit this industry and they are up to scratch with what needs to be done, the number of people they are employing, what they can do more, we engage with them to see what the issues are. I go to the extent of making sure that companies' issues that are even personal to them, we resolve it, because you see, if they have a land issue and you resolve it, they get the space to expand. That is what we do. And so we are hands-on with industry and making sure that we are able to help them resolve their matter timelessly. The engagement with captains of industry on the 24-hour economy was also done. We worked together with the 24-hour secretariat to apprise industry of some of the things they need to do relative to of the division of labor and specialization. If your work is just doing collar, we can train you to make a collar within a month. You start sewing, just joining and all of that. And so we hope that that industry will create a lot of jobs. The beauty is the fact that, again, in the garment factory, it employs all categories of people: university graduates, diploma holders, and people who have not even gone to school at all. Because you see, when it comes to sewing, some people are talented. You don't have to go to school to sew. I own a sewing business, and so I understand how people have not been to school and they can sew and owl you. And so this is one area where jobs can be created, whether you have certificate or you don't have certificate. And so for those who have been complaining that we ask for certificate for job, garment industry has come. Yam, fish, poultry, cashew, nuts, rice, shea butter, and palm kernel oil. The Exim Bank, under the direction of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will put together 2 cashew factories, one in the Bono East and one in the Bono region. We grow a lot of cashew, and so the closer the factory to the raw material, the better the effective cost of production and less transportation. Just to mention a few. So this is also going to happen 2026. 2026 is a busy year for trade, agribusiness, and industry, a successful year for that matter, and we look forward to making sure that the benefits inure to the general public. We're also establishing a 24/7 business registration centers and digital helplines. Even as the 24-hour economy gathers steam, we want to make sure that you can also register 24 hours. You can have helpline within 24 hours. So no matter what time of the day you are working, the helpline is available to help you. We have also drafted the Consumer Protection, Competition and Business Regulatory Reform Bills. These will also be dealt with in 2026 to protect the consumer and also guide competition. We also want to boost export and strengthen Ghana's position in the regional and global value chains. We host the Africa Continental Trade Area. And so, even as we are able to improve what we do here, we will be able to take advantage of the single biggest market in terms of countries in the world. 1.5 billion people, $3.4 trillion dollars in cash. And so if you are able to do that, we'll take advantage of all of these. We've already indicated that we are interested in commercial contract farming. Industry. So the best part is to enter into commercial contract farming, where the farm is so big that the kotoko chopper operator will not be tolerated on that farm, because it is to supply factory A that you have a contract with. And so the ministry is taking steps to do contract commercial farming, assist private practitioners to do that. And we know that will go a long way into solving the raw material challenges that industry has annually. Transform raw materials into finished products for both domestic use and for the export market. Ghana is touted as the net exporter of raw materials. That is not good. We need to add value. Once we are adding value, we are doing import substitution, we are exporting at a good price, and then we are creating jobs in the process. If you just export cassava, you lose on the value chain. And so the agribusiness subsector is here to assist in the value addition, so that we don't only add value to our goods for domestic market, for export, and to ensure that our city is stable, because only God knows how much money we need to import the things that we export, the raw materials for them to manufacture. They buy it cheaply, they name their price and bring it back in the form of finished produce, finished products. And so as a country, we've made it a point to add value under the African Continental Free Trade Area. I think I mentioned that briefly, that we are the headquarters of Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the biggest single market in the world. And so we are taking advantage of what we host. We're teaching our industries to be export ready and after. In area standardization, Ghana Standard Authority is working with countries so that if you export a product from Ghana to another country, that country does not need to look at the potency or the standard and how it. And so that is where we are with GEPA, Ghana Standard Authority to a free trade area, where Ghanaians trade duty-free, quota-free to anywhere. Ghana is already enjoying the benefit of AFTA, because it's one of our best selling points. Even as we look for investors out of town, we tell them that don't look at the 33 million people in Ghana. Look at 1.5 in Ghana, where our security, our safety, our location is perfect. You are able to export duty-free, quota-free to any of these African countries. And so we are taking a big advantage of ATA. My account of the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, with the support of my hardworking, able staff, and we say thank you for the support that we have received.
To the questions that media men and women present here may have. Relates to the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. So please walk up to the microphone, identify yourself as is the usual rubric, and then ask your question.
My name is Wisdom Hedejome. I work with TVXYZ. So in the KPIs that the President gave to the ambassadors and the high commissioners, they were supposed to increase trade by a certain percentage. We want to know what the ministry is doing to ensure that those metrics are met, and those that do not meet it, what sort of sanctions are there for them? And then you talked about visiting Abosoka and then the cement issue. Is it only limited to these ones? Because if you look at the overall economic micro indicators and then the price stability vis-a-vis the standard of living, just want to have a clarity on that. And then finally, regarding agribusiness, you talked about establishing some businesses in some parts of the country. If you go to Volta region, for example, we have a vast land
we have some sort of regulation in that industry, because people are complaining that if the regulation is not there, these manufacturers and business, which your main opponents, that is the opposition New Patriotic Party, say that it is a scam. They say that the government hoodwink Ghanaians into believing that it is going to create.
Thank you very much. So we'll take 2 more questions from Courage and then Akos, and then we'll come back for a final round. Because of the constraints of time, we urge you to summarize the questions.
Komla Klucha, I work at TV3. In 2024, your predecessor told the House that an Indian-based to Watco. How much has the government paid the Indian firm Watco as of now? Then 2, you just indicated that small retail business will be a preserve of the Ghanaian. This is according to you a short while ago, you said it. Now, if you go to Circle and another parts of the country, we have seen an influx of Chinese who are selling cars, not the Zonda and then the other people. What the carport guys of the country do, these Chinese guys are on TikTok, on social media, advertising the sale of these cars. That's a preserve of the Ghanaian. Right. What is the position of your government on this issue of about retail, specifically to the issue of the sale of cars?
All right, thank you very much, Komla. So Akos will have the last word in this round, after which we'll come back for a final one.
Ofosu-Adjare, I work with CTFM. I know that you work hand in hand with the Transport Ministry, and the NDC manifesto committed to the establishing and operationalization of a national shipping line. What stage is this initiative currently? What is the policy design? In short, when are we expected to see?
That is a question reserved for the Minister of Transport. It is purely a transport function.
That was why I said I know you work hand in hand with the Transport Ministry, so she can't give an answer to.
No, she cannot. I'm afraid I would have to do that.
Okay, so the second question is,
falls under another ministry.
what specific enforcement actions has your ministry taken in the past year to ensure the Made in Ghana policy or campaign is not just a slogan as such, but what is the enforcement over there? And then to add to the question Komla asked about retail, in fact, GUTA data from the Ghana Union of Traders Association states that 70% of the trading retail market had been occupied by the foreigners. 70% of the market
the retail
has been taken control over by the foreigners, and 30% to Ghanaians. So the question Komla asked, I want to find out from you if you admit or you agree with GUTA's data. If you do, is this not a clear admission that your ministry has failed to enforce the GIPC Act Section 27? And if you do not agree, who is responsible?
All right, thank you very much. So the minister would take these questions, after which we'll come back to take a second round.
Thank you very much. I'll start with the ambassador's KPI. Yes, now Ghana is into economic diplomacy, and so all ambassadors have been entreated to make investment a priority. Before they left, I had the opportunity to address all the ambassadors, telling them of areas of interest in Ghana, the opportunities available in Ghana where they can sell Ghana, the selling points and all of that was done in a very big session. Thereafter, Ghana has trade attaches in some of the missions, and we get reports and we get inquiries. So we're working closely with all the ambassadors who are seeking inquiries. They direct investors to come to our space, and so we are working very closely to ensure that they are able to honor this KPI. And then agribusiness in the Volta region. Yes, recently the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, as I indicated, gave a lot of coconut seedlings to farmers, and it includes farmers in the Volta region. So I'm sure very soon you'll get Kubenwa that you've been looking for. Yes, and so the LI on cement is there and it's in force. It is on the power of the LI that I met the cement manufacturers and told them exactly what the law says. I don't need to belabor the point. The best part is the fact that we all agreed that we could not increase cement price, and that's what it is. But if you want me to delve a little deeper, you need to state your ex-factory price at the beginning of every month, latest by 8th of the month. And so long as nothing of that sort had been done, that in 2024, 42.5 strength of cement was sold at 117. Now it's at 107. And 32.5 was sold at 105. Now you can get between 80 and 85. And so we have worked with them using the LI to ensure that prices are stable. And so this, and that, happy to tell you that this year, the Minister for Finance has allocated money for the implementation of the 24-hour economy. The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry are doing our part by making sure that industry is able to take advantage of that policy. That's why we are doing them what they need to take, because when I'm coming, you know, they eat from my house, and so they eat from my house, and so say, please, when you are coming, bring the coconut. Please, when you are coming, bring the coconut. I do it, they also eat it. I buy it myself, so I'm not somebody who sends people to the market. You see me on Saturday doing the shopping myself, because you see, if your soup will be nice, it starts from the market. So I buy the things myself so that I'm sure my soup is nice. So I know all these markets and I buy from them, you know. The lady who asked the question, please, where's the lady who asked the Good. Made in Ghana. So we serve as role models for people to wear what we make. I don't think that anybody can be arrested for not patronizing Made in Ghana, but it's a pride thing. And so the review of the Made in Ghana policy will be much more interesting. It will encourage more people to eat what we grow, wear what we manufacture, and things like that. I'm also sure that them coming up will also come with a Ghanaian brand where it will be a pride thing to wear these things. You see, our children wear, I think it will go a long way into ensuring that we patronize Made in Ghana and eat Made in Ghana. It's even healthy. We have a lot of these rice without any additives. Some are not even polished. And so we will continue to encourage ourselves to patronize and eat what we have. And so 24 small scale Chinese. I think I've answered all the questions for now. Thank you.
Four of them, and then the minister would answer them, and we'll call it a day. So, Odame, please approach the microphone. I've done the introduction. okay. So
and the Kokonte lava too. We continue to battle with is only tell us on TV and on paper that the spare parts have been reduced. Yet you go and spot first. We are going to see working with your outfit, we know that okay, full engine should be between 1 cedi to 2 cedi, so that we can also hold our spare parts dealers accountable.
Talking of price controls.
Yes. Secondly, we have also spoken about efforts to move the local market international, but we still see our local manufacturers grappling for access and finding their spot. In the coming days, even though we've spoken about packaging and value extension, what are the strategies put in place? What avenues are we looking at to make sure our local manufacturers are able to compete internationally? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Adami de Kokunte Lava. Kesta.
Okay. My name is Kesta Kranji. I write for the Daily Graphic. My first question is on the trading standard officers of the Ghana Standards Authority. I think somewhere last year, the minister inaugurated about 300 of them. And up to now, I don't think I've seen them working. So I wanted to know what is the challenge in rolling them out. I know that there will be financial reasons and all of that, but I want to know what the challenges are. The second one is factories invading residential areas and causing fires. I don't know if it has come to the attention of the ministry, but the last time I checked with the Factories Inspectorate Directorate, they said they didn't even have an office at that moment. They were being sacked for the Marine Drive project. Directorate. They said they didn't even have an office, and they were being chased out of the small space they occupied near the beach for the Marine Drive project. And so they were handicapped. I couldn't fault them. So between that time and now, these factories are increasing. If you go to Latebiokoshi, now the Chinese erect their signs. It's no more written in Ghanaian English again. They now have their signs there. And in September last year, there was a huge fire in Latebiokoshi. All the products in that particular building were petrochemical products. So you see all the chaluate and the things we sell in Mokola and the rest of the retail market is controlled by them. And there's evidence to that. So I want to know what pragmatic steps we are going to take with the 300 inspectors we have who are not working to ensure that these things are done right.
All right.
My last question, if you would, I wanted to know if we've improved on the quality of cement.
Okay. All right.
And if there's evidence to show that, because I know the Ghana Standards Authority do periodic tests, and in the past they've come out to say that they were not up to standard, or some inferior products were being used. If we can see the new testing from the Ghana Standards Authority to know that really we are consuming the right product. Thank you.
You seem to be well versed in matters relating to standards and the work of the Ghana Standards Authority. So, Mr. Setiye of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation will conclude this session for us.
Thank you very much for introducing me. I'm very happy that my hometown, Ejumaku Bisianse, is going to have a maize mini processing plant. During the presentation, I know that the government is targeting NTEs, that's non-traditional exports of 10 billion within a specific time frame. Last year, from the projections, Ghana earned $2.54 billion. What are the figures for the last 6 months of last year and the rate at which we are moving? Is it likely that we will achieve the 10 billion ahead of the stipulated time?
All right. Thank you very much.
And maybe the last one.
All right.
How many of the facts?
Thank you very much. So the minister would answer these questions presently.
Thank you very much. I will start with Abosokai. And again, this is not hearsay. This I am myself, and I have asked for the prices myself. And the beauty is the fact that I went with people who have been patronized Abosokai. Price of engine oil, it used to be 600 cedis in 2024. Now it's sold at 350 cedis. And I did the asking myself. And I got the confirmation from my team. Car batteries, I can see a dealer of car battery here in this room. Esther, Gifty. The cost of a brand of battery was sold as 1,007 in 2024. Now it's 1,200. Another brand sold at 1,200 is now 750. Prices have come down. I'll even move from Abosokai and go to the ordinary market. And this can be verified. Look at the price of, for example, Kokonte. Yes, I have Kokonte.
Number 1 in your list.
Number 1 on my list. Kokonte, that was sold at 1,200 a bag. It's now selling at 900 cedis. From 1,002 to 900, good savings for me and all the lovers. And Adjare, you see. Yam Pona, that was sold at 35 cedis. It's now sold at 30 cedis. Those of you that were receiving food stuff from me, you realize that in 2024, thereabout, I stopped because it was so expensive. But now I've started. The prices are better. If you look at palm fruits, that was sold at 40 cedis, now sells at 25 cedis. And these are very viable facts. Just go to the market and ask. You don't even need any scientists to do this for you. Ask them how they were selling it in 2024 if you don't even shop ordinarily, and ask them how they are selling it now. The prices have changed. Most, I will say, most of these prices have gone down, even if not 100%, a lot. And it's good enough. I mean, it's impactful enough. When price of 1 or 2 item reduces, then you don't really say something meaningful has happened. But if the bulk of the things have reduced, cost of sardine, cost of key soap that was sold at 30 cedis now sells at 23 cedis. Charcoal, a sack of charcoal that was sold at 140 cedis now sells at 100 cedis. 40 cedis off. So I must say that prices have actually reduced to reflect the gains of the economy. And so I think that if we say reduced at all, it will be a figment of somebody's own imagination, because the reality is that most of the prices have come down. Go to Abosokai. I indicated earlier, when I did my checks, in fact, only 2 resting and spring the market right now, they'll tell you some of the engine cities, some of them. And so you will see that prices are generally good, but the issue of demand and supply and scarcity has affected 2 brands. And even those ones, they promised to do something about it. And I said I was going back to the market in March. I'm not sending anybody. I'm going there in March. And also, usually before I announce it, we can't do price. It gives way to hoarding, and price it has not changed to reflect the reality. I think it's not a good enough reason for us to say that prices have not reduced. So I think that if you go to Abosokai and the issue